Hey guys, and here we are back with another video. Hope you are okay on that side of the screen, and a huge thumbs up to you right over there for being here with me. Now today I've got the Xiaomi Mi TV stick, and it is a really interesting device with some great features, but it also has a few things that might not suit your usability, and that's exactly what I'm going to share with you today, if it's the machine that you need on your setup or not. And we are back. So in terms of one of the most interesting things is that if you are looking for a simple device, cheap, and that will allow you to get Netflix at a really friendly budget price, I believe that this is a great option. In terms of specifications, it has the AM Logic S905Y2, 1GB of RAM and 8GB of flash storage. And the only thing that will limit us in some things is 1GB of RAM, especially for those of you that are a bit more aggressive in terms of usage. There are rumors that there will be available a 2GB version, but that's not confirmed and I'm not really sure. So if you are looking for a step-up machine, I would suggest the Mi Box S. I will leave a link somewhere right over here. I will also leave links for NVIDIA Shield and devices similar, well, not similar in price, but Android tvOS, so that you can compare a few things that I'm going to mention on this video. Now, one of the things that I really enjoy is design. This is not new. We have used sticks like this with Windows and with Android in the past, so it's nothing new to us here, but still great. I did enjoy back then and I do still enjoy it. And if you want a simple setup, this is just great. Now, one thing that I would suggest is that if you are putting this on a TV near a wall, I would suggest to get one of these L-shaped HDMI adapters that you can put on your TV and it will not face the wall. Now, in my particular case, I'm using a TV on the backyard and it has a side entrance for the HDMI, so I'm okay. But just have that in mind. If your TV is like that, just order one of these cheap and your problem is just solved. Now, my setup outside is a setup that it's not very demanding. We just need to watch my IPTV service, Netflix, after dinner or whatnot. And probably this is the ideal. I don't need more than this right over there. And if I put something stronger there, probably it would be a waste of money. But there are situations that this will not be enough. And we will talk about that in just a few moments. Now, the remote control, it's great. Better than the remote of the Mi Box S. It's very similar, but the buttons are in rubber, and I really enjoy the rubber on the buttons, which makes this a more premium remote control. Talking about remote control, I did connect a Bluetooth mouse and I also did connect a Bluetooth gamepad. And at this moment, the only connection that we have is a micro USB to connect it. But I did order already a micro USB splitter so that I can connect USB devices besides the power input. So in a few days, weeks, I will share with you what I can get with that and what if we can connect more devices via USB or not. Now, things that we can do with this machine. I did test all the apps that we usually do, and one thing that I can tell you right now is that it works on every single app. One of the things that we will also find in common on every single app is that it's not the fastest machine that we have used. And this is not as surprise. It doesn't come as a surprise. When I open Netflix, for example, like any other app, what I will find is that the browse is not fast and the machine is not that responsive. Now, there's nothing wrong with it. I open Netflix, I can choose my series or the movie and I can start playing with it. And once it starts playing, everything will be just fine. 1080, great resolution, no issues at all. The experience is just awesome. The only thing that can be a bit frustrating is previous to selecting the movie, the menus are a bit slow and it will drag a little bit, and you will feel, especially if you have used faster machines like the Xiaomi Mi Box S, or even faster an NVIDIA Shield TV, which is really, really fast. So this is the thing that you'll find in common on all the apps that I did use and I will share with you right now. But as I said, once we start the movie on Netflix, we will be able to watch it without any issues at all, and it's just an awesome experience. Now the same happens with YouTube, 1080 maximum resolution, and the only thing that I saw right over there was that it dropped a few frames when the video starts, but we are talking about an insignificant number of frames. We are talking about 60 or 70 frames. That is probably because of the network doing the connection for the video, so nothing really problematic, and for the whole duration of the video you will have no issues at all, as long as our connection will handle. HBO, the experience was very similar to Netflix. Once we started the movie or the series, it will work just fine. The only thing is that the menus are not that fast. Kodi, the experience was great as well. I was a bit cautious with Kodi because it has a bit more demanding stream style, because I've got MKV Blu-ray 1080 movies, which are a bit heavier than what Netflix and HBO streams, and they are on my network, on a network attached storage solution, but the experience was really nice. So the bandwidth that I've got, 40 megabits per second of downloads and upload, and if I didn't mention that before, I could only get 2.4 gigahertz networks and not 5 gigahertz networks, so this was the maximum that I could get. But even then, I was able to stream Kodi without any issues. The same happened with Plex. I can stream Plex without any problem at all. The menus are not that fast, once again, but once I do start the movie, then I can fast forward, rewind, and so on and so forth, and it works just fine. So I just can't be very demanding with it, but I can do a lot with it. Now, I also tested the IPTV services that I use here on my country, one of which is Novo, and it is one of the best apps that I've seen because it works on almost every single machine that I've seen on the past few months. So it was a great experience right over there. I also tested a few other services to say that the mobile versions app also work here on Android TV OS, and my feedback is that they work great. The only thing is that we need to connect a mouse to work with that kind of application, but that's just a downside. The advantage is that we can use any app, you just need to sideload it, and that is it. Now, in terms of gaming, I did test out two games. One was Beach Buggy Racing, and it is a light game, but if you want to play this kind of game, then it will be just fine. We can play the game with a gamepad. The experience will be awesome. Looks like any other machine. Now, Asphalt 8, the story is not the same. It's a heavy game, and 1 gigabyte of RAM is just not enough to run. So what we will find is a not good experience. It will just simply crash, and we will need to reboot the game. Sometimes it goes a little bit further, sometimes it gets less further, but the final result is that the game will just crash, and we will need to reboot the machine, be able to use it again. Now, one thing that I was surprised is that I also tested game streaming from one of my machines right over there with Steam Link, and it did work. I was a bit worried that it wouldn't work, but it did work. I did test it out with Gas Guzzlers from Steam, and if you don't know what GameStream is, just search on the channel somewhere right over there, and you will find a lot of info, because we have done a lot of tests on all operating systems that we can, but the result was that it's playable. I had one or two hiccups right over there in terms of gameplay, and the quality is not good, and it's not to expect anything else, because the network is not fast enough to get a better image quality, but we can play. And although the graphics are not that good, because the quality gets shrinked to be able to stream the video, we can play. So as I said in the beginning, we can do a lot, and as we could see, I could do almost everything. The only thing was that Asphalt 8 game that did crash, but everything else worked awesome. It's just not fast as some other machines. Now, things that might be a little bit disappointing to you. Now, multitasking, this is not a machine for multitasking. Actually, in terms of firmware, at least for what I did test, there is no multitasking. When I leave an app like Netflix, the system will close completely that app, so it's not grabbing resources on the background. Now, this is great, but it will also cause something, which is when we close the app, unlike other machines that will just put it on the background, this one closes, and this takes a little bit more time. So expect to close an app and wait a few seconds to have the machine ready. And the menus are not fast as well. When the machine gets out of an app, we will notice that there is a bit of delay on the menus, and it drags a little bit. So the experience is not really fast. We will need to be patient with this machine. Nothing very serious, nothing that it's horrible. It's not horrible, but have in mind that it's not the fastest machine. Now, if I compare with the Mi Box S, which is faster, and if I give you an example of the NVIDIA Shield, where I can multitask, I can go from Kodi to Netflix, from Netflix to Novu, from Novu, which is an IPTV service, to any other app, I can just multitask and be aggressive with the machine, and the machine will respond. This one you will not find that multitasking capability, and you will find it a slower machine that needs some patience, and depending on the setup, I think that it's okay. Now, I also find a few crashes here and there. Netflix was one of which, and the other one, I think it was YouTube, that the app just crashes, and then we need to open the app again, and it will work fine, and then it will crash. It wasn't that much, but just have in mind that I believe it will be fixed on a firmware update, which Xiaomi does update their machine, so this is one of the great things as well. Now, the other downside that I did find was in terms of the 2.4 gigahertz networks. I was able to find them easily, but 5 gigahertz networks, it was not able to find them. And just to give you an example, with 5 gigahertz here, I can get easily on the Mi Box S or the NVIDIA Shield, I can get 300 megabits per second on downloads and 200 on upload, more or less. And with the 2.4, I can only get roughly 40 megabits per second connection. It's a solid connection, but it's not 300 megabits per second of download. And if it was, we probably could get a better experience on game streaming, for example, and we could do a few more things. Now, guys, in terms of conclusion, this is a really interesting machine, and in terms of setup, there will be some setups like mine that I've got on my backyard that it's really interesting, and I don't need more than this, because at the end of the dinner I just want to watch a episode of one of my series on Netflix and relax for a little bit, and this is more than enough. On the other hand, if you are a more aggressive user and if you want a faster browser experience, then you will find that this machine, it's not enough. And in that particular case, my suggestion is look into the Mi Box S, which is 60 euros compared to the 40 euros right over here, but it will give you a superior experience. Or if you want the best that we have on the market right now, then once again, NVIDIA Shield, which is simply the best device with Android tvOS in the market, but it costs 3 times more than the Mi Box S, probably 4 times this one right over here. So we will need to think what we really need and what kind of user we are, so that we are not frustrated, because at the end of the day, this is great. I just need to know exactly how I'm going to use and the type of user that I am. Guys, hopefully this video was helpful for you to decide if this is the machine that you need and that you want on your setup. And if it was, don't forget that usual thumbs up. My name is Roberto, and as always, I'll see you guys on the next one.